All right. After many, many weeks of all of you submitting your questions to AMA at gpool.io, we are here to answer the overarching questions that you all had. Okay, so we got a lot of questions that can all be summarized as what gives TBILL rewards value? So when we want to go ahead and compare TBILL to something like Bitcoin and other reward mechanisms, it's important to take a look at where did the ecosystem get built from? And what we see with Bitcoin is that the capital was given to the chip manufacturers. The chip manufacturers then gave the mining hardware, and the miners mine Bitcoin and take them out of the ecosystem, and they pay their costs, and then they go and they compound and they buy more equipment with that Bitcoin. When we take a look at TBILL, we see how the rewards, so when an individual gets their TBILL, they lock T-Fuel, and that increases the price, that increases the TVL, which is what your APR is based on. Rewards are then issued. Many compound. Very few don't. That all is in the math here later. Okay, so let's take a look here. So the LP has TBILL and T-Fuel in it, and as more people come and join the LP, and has everyone that has come forth they add T-Fuel into the LP, and it outbalances the TBILL. So as a result of that, what ends up happening is we issue the APR, and then there's rebasing. So basically what ends up happening is if everyone is staked 100% and everybody compounds their 50%, that is 0.1%. So what we do is we let the market for 2 hours take and do as they will with the distribution of rewards, and then we utilize the algorithm, and the algorithm will tell us if there needs to still be a rebase. We've seen rebases as high as 12.93% up to this point. So on this day, the 0.1% didn't even come close. As a matter of fact, basically what ends up happening is we end up having a pretty dramatic rebase, meaning more coins issued. We'll get into rebase here. So what does rebase mean? Okay, so I think we all remember this image. It's good to touch back on it. When you have theta, you have the supply as being the constant, and the price goes up. So quantity times price equals what your value is, or what your value holds. As the price goes up and your coins stay the same, your value goes up. So when we look over at TBILL, what we simply have is the reverse. Your value goes up as the price stays in its range, as you end up getting more tokens. So tokens times price is value, and token times price is value. This graphic, I'm sure a lot of you have seen it. I think it represents what rebasing static or targeted denomination is like. And the representation is where you have $5 of value in a single token, or you have $5 of value in 5 tokens. So the rebase issues more tokens, the price comes down, you still have your $5 of value, even though you ended up having more tokens. So it's proportional. 1 token, $5, 5 tokens, $5. It's a rebase, more tokens issued, price goes down. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Positive rebase. So you have the TBILL value, you have extra T fuel, positive rebase issues more TBILL out there. They proportionally balance back out. Same goes for a negative rebase. Basically, what you have is you have the balancing of values distributed through the liquidity pool. All right, so we've got a lot of excited individuals out there that can't wait to see us at our next event that we attend. The next event is going to be ThetaCon 2020. We look forward to seeing and meeting even more of you. It's been nice to be able to meet some of you all already, but our community has grown, I feel, leaps and bounds since the last one. So it's going to be really exciting to see everyone there. Okay, so I want to make a bit of a distinction. This video here would be considered an AMA, where we are going to touch on overarching questions that the community has. Announcement videos, they come a bit differently, and that's where you should look to for future involvement and announcements. But what I've decided to do is a bit of a what kind of announcements should you be looking for in 2022. This is obviously not all of them, and this is just a glimpse, and this isn't supposed to be where you learn everything that you need to know about any of these announcements. So the Final 40 NFT event is going to be where you merge the Final 40 massive multipliers. More on that in our YouTube channel video. The time-based NFT minting. So this is where we will show all of the math, the examples, and so forth of the best modeled time-based NFT minting. More on this will be coming quite soon. I know everyone's excited to mint their first one. All right, lending open NFT space. There's been quite a bit of talk of this, so in Discord, and some of you aren't there all the time and some can't catch up, so I don't have a problem sharing at least a bit of what has already been discussed a tiny bit. So this will be a 50-50 split. With that being said, it's not going to be a auction style where you sit there and you try to find someone that matches up with you. It'll be a very simple, as all of our stuff is, to utilize interface where you participate or you don't participate. Same with borrowing. It's going to be a participation or no participation. I'm sure there are scenarios out there of where someone won't want to participate in the borrowing pool. I can't fathom them, but you guys always find some of those little dark corners out there, which is greatly appreciated. I can't think of everything. I guess our team in total. So then smart pools. We've talked about this quite a bit. I think you guys are all well aware, but if not, this is where impermanent loss is going to be realized with another, like a stable coin, right? Where you have USDC or a wrapped version of USDC, and you can have the LP be in a way creating impermanent loss. And where the solution comes from is basically the proportion. With Balancer, as we've discussed, Balancer allows you to pick different ratios versus the 50-50 in the LP. You can do something like a 20-80. So when you have the smart pool, you can have the adjustment happen at the same time as the rebase. It's a synchronization. More on that later, obviously, as well. Now, token and NFT burn events. One of the burn events that we've already discussed openly, that I'll discuss here, is the 4th of July NFT burn event. We're having a good time planning that event. It's going to be fun to watch. Nothing like we're not flying everyone to Disney World for fireworks. Okay, let's tamp down the expectations. It's an animated, fun like skit. Okay, but I think it's going to be fun to have. So that's where we're going to burn the leftover or the excess lurker patron NFTs that weren't claimed in the window of time, the deadline, that you had to send your email. My team has then ran an audit extensively on all of the emails and did you or did you not receive. So what we're going to then have is a remainder, and that remainder is going to be burnt. Token burning, I won't go into that. Some of those are quite fun and exciting in their own right. I think those ones will be. I think it'll be fun, for sure. The governance token. My goodness, this is going to be so exciting. Oh my gosh, I think that everybody can tell by how excited I was about micro voting and swarm, intelligence. Anyhow, aside from all of that, obviously there's going to be earning of it. There will be the airdrop for all of our Gpool stakers. We're working to make sure that every token that we support is going to participate in the airdrop. More on that, obviously, as that is released, as well as proportions and so on. When it comes to liquid LP tokens, so what we're seeing is that you all really love the LP. And TBILL was designed to be a liquidity token in the metaverse. We've got a lot of things back here that we're building that we need the TBILL for. So we're working on potentially allowing like a lending or a capital deployment where you can utilize your TBILL that's in the LP as liquidity. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more lengthy of a process. So we want to make sure that everyone understands, that we understand, that we know that your liquidity is sort of being used primarily for liquidity pool, liquidity swaps. So we'll have more on that later. Rebasing 2.0. Okay. So I'm not going to go into heavily into all of this, but just know that basically we have the Rebase as a 3 and the APR as a 6, and then 9 here is basically where we find a better bit of a balance. So basically what we're looking at here is the interaction of the ecosystem, as well as how these algorithms are going to work better together. So, okay. So what I mean by 9 is here we have 0.1% and here we have 12.93% that day. We think that it can be better. We know that there can be better from the models, but I guess this is where some of our innovation is going to come from when it comes to APR, then the rebasing. I mean, not that we already haven't done a bit of innovation already, but when I'm talking about in a programmable code sense, meaning, we've forked prior audited code from Ampliforth. Well, this is where we're actually going to start changing that, and where we're going to then get all the audit for our Rebasing 2.0 and so on and so forth. Also, probably good to talk about the LP and how we're utilizing Theta Labs already Uniswap audited 10 times over, Uniswap version 2. Theta Labs took an implementation of Uniswap version 2.0 and they put it on the Theta blockchain, and we're using the code that they applied to the blockchain. So all of your LP tokens are stored in blockchain code that has been audited, Uniswap version 2, and then implemented onto the Theta blockchain by Theta Labs, by the Theta team. So once we start getting into some of this stuff, it's where we start adding our own code or our own building blocks instead of just using blocks that have already been there. And that's where we're excited to get all of you guys more detailed on that here shortly. Okay. Announcements to look for out of the GTX wallet. Well, I can't wait for this. This wallet's going to be so great. The beta version and the beta launch is going to be cool in its own regard, but some of the stuff that we're already here testing and everything is that we're going to then add as we progress on it is going to be really, really cool, really exciting. Some of the stuff that I can't believe is not already in wallets, to be honest with you. I mean, some of this stuff was in works in 2014, 2015 that I'm just like, I can't believe that this still hasn't been implemented in a wallet. So let's just take it on here and, do this. So eventually it will be able to be used to stake natively T-Fuel and your Theta. Obviously store Theta too. We know that there will be a wrapped Theta at some point, but with that, we also want to make sure that you can have the native Theta so that you can stake and unstake from the GTX wallet. Something you can't do with the MetaMask wallet. You can't even interface with Theta.js. And then the GTX browser. Oh, man, I can't wait for this GTX browser. There's just things that you run into on a daily basis with normal browsers. And, let's not forget that both of these are going to be more community driven. Like the GTX browser, where you're going to be able to, as a community with your governance token, weigh in on the validity of a website, in crypto. That's really helpful, unstoppable domains, where you're going to be able to, we're going to index and you'll be able to archive your website in edge storage. And this browser will be stored in edge storage, hopefully, downloaded from edge storage, and then you're able to surf edge storage with it. So basically Web3, we're talking about Theta building the whole mesh edge network, and we're going to build a browser for it. That's like a Google Drive that's everyone's going to use, and it'll be in a more graphic interface way. Not that Google Drive is partnering. I'm just saying, in a sense, it's like a Dropbox. It's a Google Drive, but we need a little bit more of a visual interaction. But more on that, and obviously the release coming here very soon. Okay, so G-Twins. We're doing a lot of cool stuff back here with G-Twins. We have just seen some preliminary examples of scaling clothing. So you buy one NFT, one size shirt, and it can fit your G-Twin if you're in your normal avatar, if you're as a gorilla, wristwatches that scale for gorilla's wrist or little kid's wrist, anyhow, cat's wrist. So look for the announcement for G-Twin, the interface, as well as everyone getting their G-Twin airdrop to them, and then utilizing that beta interface. Gworld announcements. My goodness, Gworld. Quite exciting back here about it. I'll be honest with you, man. There's just so much. Anyhow, so as far as what to be looking for here, is an early ownership NFT event. Gosh, it's hard to even allude without getting too much of the details out there. But oh gosh, it's so fun creating this stuff. So yeah, that's basically what we have coming out. I hope I've answered some of those questions again a bit more clear for everyone. I look forward to doing another one of these, as well as doing the next announcement video that's in the queue already. All right, see y'all later.